Hello, and welcome to this first lecture of Requirements Management section. As you know, I am Arun Singhal, your management coach and mentor with 40 years of experience in people development. So, what are we going to do in this new section of requirements management is basically to understand how to best manage customer requirements that can help us build excellence in solution design. And in this lecture, particularly, we're going to talk about what is requirements management. Then, what is the excellence in requirements management? Because if we have to become excellent in solution design, we need to also to manage requirements in an excellent manner. And then we will look at how can we meet these excellence requirements, an overview of that in this lecture, and subsequent lectures we'll get into the details of that. Right? Ready? Wonderful. So, what is requirements manager as what you understand? Any thoughts? Okay. So, requirements manager basically starts at gathering requirements from your customers, analyzing the requirements, then defining those requirements for use of the rest of the organization, and somewhere before that, in terms prioritizing the customer requirements, and on an ongoing basis, validating and maintaining the customer requirements. So that's the whole cycle of managing the requirements. So how can we be excellent in requirements manager if this is the process of requirements manager from gathering to validating and maintaining? How can we? What is excellence in this whole process? Any thoughts? See, the excellence ties into the definition that we've been talking about. We have to do this requirements management in a manner that delivers consistently greatest value to our customers, required quality, at the least possible cost and in shortest possible time, and using systematic and disciplined approach with the application of right tools and methodologies. Right? Make sense? Wonderful. So, how can we meet these excellence requirements? Any thoughts on that? Okay. So basically, there are two, we will bring in the tools and techniques that we've been talking about, and gathering and managing requirements. You broadly have two tools from the design excellence domain. One is our design thinking that we've spent a time in the previous module talking about, as well as the dfss that we talked about. And we can use either of those or both of those or a combination of those. How? If you look at your industry can be placed somewhere on this spectrum of either high volume, low variety or low volume, high variety. If you are a kind of a company that produces unique products for every customers, a project or a job shop, custom made for the customer, then the design thinking is the right tool, and we will see how does that work in terms of managing requirements. And if the volumes are high and the variety is very low, like in a petrochemical industry or a continuous process, then the dfss would be a better tool in general and specifically in requirements management as well. Make sense? Or you could use even a combination. As you will see as we go along, there are advantages of each of those, and it would be good. It will be very useful actually to use a combination of things that both these tools offer. So, what do we do in the next module, next lecture? We get into looking at each of these phases very clearly, and we start with understanding how can we gather customer requirements in a best possible way in an excellent manner that we have defined in this chart. So thank you so much for watching this first video of requirements management. I hope you are beginning to get an understanding of what is requirements manage all about, what is the excellence requirement, and broadly what are the tools available. And we will now go forward and start talking about in detail about each of the phases. So I hope you are beginning to enjoy this session, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next lecture.